Welcome to the Magic Marine Daily Show. I'm your host, Katie Nastro, reporting from Buenos Aires, Argentina, on day one of the 2015 49er and 49er FX World Championships. On today's show, we'll be talking with Olympic medalists Santiago Lenghi and Nathan Outteridge. But first, on today's feature, we are taking on a tour of Club Nautico in San Isidro, setting the scene for our viewers abroad. We caught up with one of our favorite local boys, Iago Lenghi, to get an insider's view into this beautiful venue. Take a look.
Hola, bienvenidos a Buenos Aires. Here we are in the yacht club for the 49er World Championship, and today we will have a barbecue in the island, and please come and join us and see the good meat and good barbecue with all our friends. I'm here. We arrived to the island, and here I can show you behind me is all the barbecues that people come in the weekends and do big family meetings and full of barbecue. You will understand right now. At least 20 barbecues or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely enjoying my time here. We've been very fortunate at the yacht club. We've been hosting some very nice barbecues, sample the local cuisine, and yeah, it's been exciting. The facilities here at the yacht club are amazing. There's hundreds of tennis courts, which are brilliant, and a beautiful golf course, which hopefully we'll get to sample one day. But yeah, it's a huge club and loads of lovely family members.
Joining me now is five-time Olympic participant Santiago Lenghi, local legend. This is your hometown, right?
This is my hometown.
This is your hometown.
Yes.
Great. Thanks for coming on the show. And also, don't forget, we have Nathan Outteridge, 2012 Olympic gold medalist in the 49er fleet. Nathan, thanks also for joining us on today's show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, guys. So getting into it, I'm going to cross back to you, Santiago. We just saw the feature. Your son gave us a little tour. It was fantastic. You've probably sailed here the most out of probably anyone I've ever met or anyone at the club that's coming here from abroad. Tell us a little bit about sailing on these waters.
Well, it's for me obviously it's my favorite place because I am born here and I like it. For what I hear in other international regattas is that it's hard to read the brown water. It's a tricky place, but could be an easy place. If they sail in the afternoon, we will get a really nice sea breeze, but for sure will be a guy that sails in all conditions to be able to win here.
Mm-hmm. Right. Nathan, you've sailed here at the South Americans earlier this month. What can you tell us from an outsider's perspective?
Yeah, well, Santi's pretty spot on. I've been asking him all week, how do you read this wind on the water? Because it's so brown, people refer to it as like chocolate milk that you're sailing in.
It is.
And it's tricky because we've been sailing in the transition of the morning breeze dying to the sea breezes developing. Sailing between 11 and 3 o'clock is just the really mixed up weather. And I keep asking Santi, what should we do? And all he says to me is, race later. He's got no tips for me, unfortunately.
That's funny. That's great. So Santi, going back to you and the feature, this is your home club. People probably kiss your feet when you walk around here, constantly asking you questions. I mean, what is that like for you?
Oh, for me, it's the most important thing that is great for Argentina and for the club to have this World Championship here. Is for me, to the locals, I try to say, hey, go and see the racing because we have the best sailors here, and I am proud to have all these guys here. I want to see every single race, and the locals here is a big passion for sailing, but it's more relaxed sailing, and probably they don't know who they are here, and I really want to make sure everyone don't miss this. This is going to be great, and for the people coming from abroad, anything that I can help, I try to do it because I always had so much help whenever I travel around that this is a good opportunity for me to be a good hostage of my friends and a lot of people I know.
To give back.
Yes, it's good. Sport. Yeah, I really want them to enjoy my club.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's beautiful here, by the way. I mean, Nathan, what do you think of the area?
Yeah, it's been such a cool spot to come and, not just the sailing, but just the whole place. You know, I've been trying to catch up with Santi since being here, and he took us to this nice restaurant up the waterfront. He's like, you know, we'll meet out there by boat. Found this little private place, and I bet you he's been taking other people there too, because I went there last night and there's motorboats and ribs and all sorts of sailors showing up there now, so it's starting to get quite busy. But you know, it's a nice place to come to. We've been looking forward to it all year, and you know, it's quite different to, you know, going to Europe where everything's so easy and organised and everyone has their cars. Like, everyone's on level playing field here. They all show up dealing with containers, unloading boats, going sailing in a place that basically no one here's ever sailed in before. So it's a pretty level event, and you know, I think Santi's boys did very well last weekend, and I'm sure they're going to be out there charging, you know, all week long.
Definitely, great. So going back, both of you are Olympic athletes, you know, have sailed in past Olympic events. When you come back to your home club, Santi, when you walk around here, do people know that you were in the Olympics and that you've placed in the Olympics? You know, tell us a little bit about that.
This is an interesting question because, and I hope you feel it during this week, the principal rule of this club is to be a family club. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard. They don't want champions here. They don't care about champions. They care about that we are here in a family, mm-hmm. which for many things is really nice. Mm-hmm. I live in this club for 4 years and I love the club in that way. But sometimes it's hard for me to get support, to get promoted of new champions, you know. So it's a double-sided coin.
Yes.
But it's nice also. And on the other hand, yes, I get full support from the people here, from the employees of the club that been helping me all my life. They know since I am very young, and I have full respect of them. They always been supportive to me a lot.
Great. Nathan, going to you. When you came home from the 2012 Olympics, did people know what you just did and what you just won? I mean, were people aware? I'm sure your friends and family were. But when you met an outsider, you know, somebody that didn't know who you were in the sailing community, and you just told them, oh yeah, I was just in the Olympics and I won a gold. What is that like? Did they ask you a million questions and kind of come up with, you know, oh, you're an Olympic sailor? What? You know?
Yeah, I think like the club I'm from, Wanji Sailing Club on Lake Macquarie, is a very small club. Mm-hmm. You know, we went through a junior program of maybe 10 or 12 sailors, and every, you know, few years people move on, you come in. So it's a pretty small place. And, you know, I would almost say half the town went to the Olympics in London to watch us sail, you know, friends and family, and they all made the trip, you know, back home before we got back. And, you know, it's something special, the Olympics, and coming home after it, winning a gold medal, the town was sort of decorated in green and gold. So it was pretty obvious that we were home, and there was a big parade a few weeks later with us there, with most of the town turning out. And, you know, I think the best thing for that was just what it did to the club and the sport. Mm-hmm. And now we have a very strong junior fleet of, you know, 40 or 50 kids there. You know, my sister does quite a bit of coaching there, and I think, you know, when you go away, like, you know, campaigning for the Olympics, you're never at home. You're never really training it from your home club. You're on the road. You know, most of the guys here probably spend 2 or 3 months at home and the rest of the time traveling. So if you can bring home, you know, some silverware, and hopefully encourage, you know, the youngsters to get involved, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's definitely great for the sport. So I guess my question to both of you would be, when you win an Olympic medal, what is that feeling like? Is it surreal? Do you look at it and I did that. I just did that. You know, it's a dream that you've had, I'm sure, since you were young, but to actually physically do it, what does that feel like?
For sure, it's something so special. But everything you go back, at least in the mind, is also, I try to recall all the traveling I did to get there, you know. I think at the end of the day, it's more fun, all what you have done, the effort you have done, and the failures, the good things, the regattas you have won before the games, the friends, the support you get from all your people that support, that there normally are a lot of people. And then, obviously, it's those minutes or hours that you get the chance to realize that you made it. Yeah. But I think the more longer I get from what I did, the more I value the whole trip along.
The journey.
The journey, yes.
It's not about the destination. It's the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. You know, I'm getting old. That's why I remember the journey.
You've had a lot of journeys. We're not going to say you're old. We're just going to say you had a lot of journeys. Well, I guess another question would be, I'm sorry, Nathan, we can slow it up, but you can answer that now.
I think for me, with the whole feeling. I think for me, like, you know, London and you know, the journey involved and the finish of the event and winning a gold medal. I think for Goobs and I, it was more about a lot of relief. You know, we were pretty odds-on favourite going into that event. You know, performing very well in Weymouth in the whole lead-up, and there's incredible amounts of pressure on people at the Olympics because all of a sudden everyone's saying, well, this is the one that counts. Every event in the lead up, it's like, but we weren't using our best boat or our best sail, so you can make all these excuses for yourself. Mm-hmm. But at some point, the excuses have to stop and the result has to come.
Yeah.
And for us just to be able to execute a well, you know, sailed event and, you know, have no major incidents was just a huge relief. And, you know, it's something that not many people really get to do in this world, is to put together a solid event when it counts. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's what everyone's striving to do now in the lead up to Rio.
Yeah, definitely. Great point. Great point. So I guess this is an interesting question. On the flip side, when you tell people that you're a professional sailor, what are some really funny you know, responses to that? Or, you know, what do people think you actually do? Do they think you're a cruise director? I mean, you know, like, what do they think you actually do for a living, you know? Just go into that. I guess, Nathan, you can go first.
I don't know, I guess, you know, initially when I'd say, you know, people ask, what do you do? And I said, I don't really have a job, I go sailing. And they're like, no, but how do you pay for that? And I'm like, it just seems to be able to pay for itself. And they're like, but what does that mean? I said, well, I go sailing and I come in and I fix the boat and I go back out and keep sailing.
Yeah.
And now for me, like, sort of going through the Olympic sailing and still continuing it, but getting involved in America's Cup sailing, it actually then does become like a full-time job, and you've got a big team around you. And so when you say I'm a professional sailor in an America's Cup team, I think that string's a very different thing. But you know, what they don't realise is that what we all do in Olympic sailing is just as professional, just as difficult, and you got 100%. No one else to help you. It's just you and the guy you sail with and your coach. And I know Santi's been involved in both as well, so I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
It's a big difference between the two organisations.
Oh, for sure. Going to the people, yes, they think we are in holidays all the time, most of me at least. But for sure, I totally agree with Nathan that both words are very professional and demands a lot of effort and energy, and I think a lot more than what the people think and many other sports. You know, I see here, I have plenty of friends in the national team that play hockey or play rugby, and they go to the gym, yes, they go train, but we have all this extra that is looking to take care of our boat and analysis the day of we train, and so that the days are pretty long, and it's a sport that takes a lot of your time, for sure.
A lot of time, definitely.
A lot of time.
Yeah, so I guess my other question to piggyback on top of that would be, because sailing is not as widely broadcasted as, say, some of the sports you had just mentioned, do you think people just have this misconception of, you know, what a professional sailing, you know, what an Olympic campaign entails and what you guys actually really do and how much effort and hard work is put in? Do you think it gets downplayed?
Well, I think depend on how well informed are those people. Mm-hmm. You know, some people really knows that it's a very complete sport. You know, it's technical, it's physical. Nowadays, you know, when I see all the guys that are here in the club, and you know, I am proud of them because I think I really love the 49er because it's an athletic boat and it's really, really difficult boat, and I think it's doing very well to our sport. And I think many people see that. You know, obviously, then you have people that are less aware of what's going on in our sport, and obviously they don't know. But I think today it has become the America's Cup too, you know, and the Volvo Ocean Race too. You know, our pinnacles of our sport, I think we have a really good showcase. It's a question of how, in the future, we improve ourselves to teach the people how much is involved in every single boat. No?
Definitely. Nathan, can you respond?
Yeah, I think, like the more that it's sort of sometimes some countries are really into a certain sport and others aren't. And in Australia, sailing has always been a good sport, but not really well understood. Swimming's our number one sport. Then you've got cricket and football and netball and soccer and all these mainstream sports. And as soon as you come to sailing, no one really knows what it is except for, say, the Sydney to Hobart. And sailing, we won 3 gold and a silver at the last Olympics. It was the biggest sport in Australia in terms of medals. And the understanding that comes with that is huge. And so then it starts to evolve, and now there's a lot more interest in sailing in the lead up to Rio, which also means more funding, which, increases the sport. And, if only we can, do something with that internationally to grow the sport. And I think, what the America's Cup's done recently, making the racing shorter, more interesting, more TV friendly, has been great. And we just need to use that with all the junior sailing as well and the Olympic stuff.
Definitely. But thank you both for joining me. And Santiago, Nathan, we will definitely feature you guys in the future. And the 2015 World Championships are underway. Definitely tune in at 49er.org and all of our social media channels at 49er Sailing. And we'll see what happens in this World Championship. Catch you soon.